My name is Sean Davey with Brick by Brick Performance Training, and today we have our guest Mark Williams. Mark, how you doing?
I'm well, man. How about yourself?
Can't complain, man. It's a fine Sunday.
Yeah, word.
So first question I wanted to ask you, tell us who you are and what do you do?
My name is Mark Williams, and I'm the owner and co-founder of Team Footprintz Basketball Training. We're primarily a basketball training company based out of New York City. However, we do travel throughout the world and also obviously in the New York City metropolitan area. And our sole purpose primarily is just to get players better to the next level financially. Financially also because scholarship is involved, but to get players better basketball wise and use basketball as a tool for them to become better people long term for society. The end.
No, I get it. You basketball, don't let basketball use you.
Right. Hell yeah.
So just to segue into the next question. So, as a coach and as a skill developer, what do you focus on when it comes to developing the athletes you work with?
Deficiencies. So our goal primarily is to make their strengths, maintain their strengths, but also increase their weaknesses. So we want to work on stuff that they can't necessarily do initially or struggle with and make that an area that's stronger than when they first walk into our doors. Our goal primarily is to enhance their strengths, but also more importantly, build those weaknesses so they become strengths also.
No, for sure. That makes a lot of sense. So do you feel like you've tried to focus more so on making sure that you don't break what's already been given, meaning like, you got the blueprint, you already have what the player is, you're not trying to change them for who they are, you're trying to maximize their role.
Yeah, but if we see anything wrong with their shot or their footwork,
for sure.
obviously we're going to correct that for the most part. Because even Carmelo Anthony, as great as he is, he could still use some type of instruction or some type of breakdown to a certain extent to enhance his game. So it's no different on the youth level and also on the grassroots and obviously the high school level. So we try to enhance their skill set, but more importantly, work on their deficiencies and critique exactly how they can become better and more efficient at the sport of basketball. And then which translates to obviously the game of life.
No, for sure. I got you on that. Well, seeing that you are being in New York City and it's one of the biggest cities of all time, what are some of the personal hurdles that you see your athletes deal with on a day-to-day basis? And also, how do you help them overcome those hurdles by using basketball?
Yeah, to answer your question going backwards is use basketball. And again, like you mentioned, use basketball as opposed to let basketball use you and have them get the best or the most that they possibly can out of their basketball skills. Squeeze that basketball orange as much as possible to maybe warrant some type of scholarship opportunities, professional opportunities, but also, again, use basketball as a conduit to life. One of the drawbacks and hurdles is primarily New York City. All this greatness, it still has a lot of distractions, a lot of things, although distractions are everywhere, but New York City is amplified because New York City, as you mentioned, is probably one of the biggest cities in the world. And there's just more people, which obviously leads to more distractions, which leads to opportunities where you can get into basically shit that you shouldn't be really getting involved in.
Basically, for sure. And I think just to add into that point, I think that's what, in a sense, makes coaches really valuable, and it really shows the worth of a coach if you can go in there and help these children become young adults and show them how to navigate through the distractions along the way.
Yeah, and that's our job as coaches / mentors first and foremost, and then also you have to have a strong foundation within the parents in the home that can also aid to that because although we use in basketball, we're basically a basketball tutor. We're not there to replace any particular person. We're not here to replace a teacher. We're not here to replace a parent. We're here to augment what they're currently doing. And luckily, we've been in a situation where we've had great parents, and the parents are, we dovetail one another to formulate a pretty good person within that happen to play basketball.
Nah, for sure, I got you on that. And I respect that a lot. I think that's what we need more in the not just basketball community, but I think in the sports world itself is that the kids have to come first, and it's not a cliche. It's literally what it is. The kids have to come first, and it's more about, like you said, giving them the opportunity to use the sport or the craft to get the most out of it for themselves on the field and also off the field.
Yep, I agree. To piggyback what you just said, I remember growing up and as a young educator, working in various colleges. Always it was a cliche. You help one kid, you've done your job. now as an older person, that seems to be one of the realest quotes you've ever heard in my life is that, that you helping that one leads to helping two, which leads to helping four, which helps to lead to 8, 16, 32, 64, all the way to 128 and just continue. So you just have to maintain that strong responsibility as an adult and also as a mentor for these young men and women.
Yeah, because once you teach one how to operate and how to lead the way, they in a sense influence others.
Right.
You know,
There you go.
the cure and the virus work the same as that way. It starts off with one thing, then it trickles down everything else.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
So another question, what do you enjoy the most when it comes to you being a coach and a mentor?
Seeing that person succeed. And again, obviously there are different levels of success. But seeing them grow and prosper from a small seed to a plant that's, vibrant and full of life. That was kind of dope what I just said, by the way.
It was some balls for sure. It was some balls.
Yeah, but basically have those seeds, get pride in them blooming. And I look at NCAA basketball now with 2021. I see a lot of people that came through our doors that are doing extremely well on the collegiate level, on the court as well as off the court. So I think that's the biggest accomplishment is, seeing these kids go on and do big things academically as well as basketball wise.
Yeah, just a reference, one of those players doing great off the court. Tuli's one of those players that's, taking something that a lot of people my age think about doing, like, helping out community and, giving back, stuff like that. But she's taking it to like a whole different level.
Right.
And I think that's something we all need to, in a sense, I wouldn't say shed more light upon, but like more so like, highlight about how we can really use this ball instead of just for ourselves, but for the community and for others, and see how this one ball can really gravitate everybody to a positive source. And I think that's really the power of sports, is that if we allow ourselves to use as a conduit to get to our goals, we can inspire others to do the same thing.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. And the person you're talking about, Batuli Kamara, is like one of my biggest, proudest persons in the world, because we had conversations almost on a daily basis about what should she do. And she's done a great job of manifesting her dreams and her passion. She's very passionate about helping the community.
Yes, for sure.
In particular, the community of her country, where she's come from, where they don't have the luxuries that we have here in America and other countries. And she's just doing, head and shoulders above what everyone else is doing, and use basketball as that opportunity, as the gateway in order to make a change.
Yeah, for sure, man. And she has great character, and I think that's the backbone of everything that makes her so incredible. But her using that character and using basketball and that passion all in one model, when you just condense all of that energy, you can't control it, man. It just blows up, and that's why she's doing so many great things right now.
Yep, she is, and she's still on the court performing, so I can't be mad at that.
Yeah, she's still killing the court.
Yep.
I guess I would say, just to piggyback on early in terms of developing and stuff and investing into the athletes. This is a question that not a lot of coaches may get, but as your role as a coach, how do you communicate to your trainee in terms of making sure whatever you're doing correlates to what they're doing on the court with their coach or with their other trainer or whatever they have going on within the support system as an athlete?
Yeah, I'm honest with them. I'm not going to bullshit any particular player. I'm going to tell you exactly how I see it based upon my 25 plus years of experience on the collegiate level,
Gotcha.
as well as the high school level and training. I'm going to be honest, and then speak to your coaches, not a lot, but mostly to the parents, to inform them of what they need to be, inform them and what not to be, what information they should use and what information they should not use. And just basically help them, again, dovetail what they're currently doing, not to replace, but dovetail it to make them a better player and obviously a better person. So I'm not going to replace their coaches, their teachers, anything like that. It's not my job. If they want advice, I'm here for it. If they don't, I'm not going to volunteer, because I don't want to be in a position where they feel I gave them the wrong advice and I kind of screw their lives up. I don't want that. That's a heavy burden for me to carry. So I'd rather just, if they ask for it, I'll give my advice. And I don't even use the advice that I say what you should do. I instead say, if you were my child, or my child would do this. and then they can take that information and do what they want. So I try to help them as much as I can, but not to the point where I'm a handler or anything like that. My job is to get them better basketball-wise, which leads them to a better person, which leads them to possibly a scholarship and also overseas or professional aspirations. So that's the extent of my job. Your center does, and your center can't do what your point guard does, and whatever the case may be. It can't be like your coach can't be the point guard. Your coach is the coach, your point guard the point guard. Everyone has their role defined. I think what happens a lot on the court as well as off the court is a lot of people are afraid to define roles. And I think what happens if you think about your high school team and your college team and all that stuff, nobody sat there and told the players, this is what I need you to do.
True.
I need you to run the team, get everybody involved, hit the open jump shot, lead us. Nobody wants to do that because they feel that they're going to pigeonhole that kid into that role. But if you're savvy enough and you have a good relationship, you'll be able to navigate through that. Being real is not being mean. You can't rebound. You're 5'1". The rebound may fall into your hand, but that's not your job. Your job is to get to the paint, create havoc, kick the ball, score if need be, but I don't need 15 rebounds from you. So I think that people are afraid to do that. So I don't know why people don't define roles on our staff. We define the roles. And I'm the low man on the totem pole, and I'm secure within self to say that my staff is run by Marquia Alexander, is run by Lauren Brakowski. Like it's not Mark Williams. It's not Mark Williams. I know my role. So and our job as leaders and mentors is to put them in position where they can take over and run the whole kit and caboodle. And that's all we're trying to do over here.
No, I respect that for sure. Segue to the question, and as a person of yourself who played ball, went to college, became an educator, and then became co-founded an independent company for skill development and also mentorship. What do you give advice for to all the listeners out there in terms of working towards your dreams and aspirations? Like, what are your advice?
You have to have a level of stick-to-itiveness. You have to believe in your shit. You have to ignore the naysayers and those that are in your field and just try to figure out how to become better than them or different than them. There's a phrase that I use, and we're going to use for something else we got coming up soon for one of our content pieces. It's called I'll give you the phrase. It's called grow in the cracks. And what I mean by that is survey their environment, see how you can be different within their environment, and where these other people are navigating, they're not hitting every demographic. So you have to figure out a way where you can grow in the cracks, and wherever they're tough and great at, every company's lacking something in some way, shape, or form. So you have to be able to foster some type of development in the cracks. And that's what the next thing that we have coming up is going to be big. We think it's big. And I shout out to my staff. They're working their ass off. And that we're going to start some of what we're doing now, where we're going to help people as far as help them through the whole process. And one of our biggest things is growing the crack. You know how Tupac had a rose grows from a crack or from the concrete?
Yeah, that was something I put in my room in 5th grade. And it's a beautiful poem too. It just talks about how basically when everybody expected the rose not to grow, they still found a way to grow.
Correct. So you have to. So they doubted. The naysayers doubted it. They said it couldn't happen. It may not be the prettiest rose. It may be a crooked stem this way, but nonetheless, it still grew. So that's how you, as a company and a business, you have to figure out how to grow within the cracks. So that's what we're trying to do.
Well, I think this is adding to your point of what you said earlier. How do you become better than them, or you carve your own lane? I think, in a sense, you can just, in my opinion, what I try to do is carve your own lane and just be better than you were yesterday. I think it's the best option because I wouldn't say it's oversaturation, but I feel like when you realize you are your only competition, and you're only as better as yesterday's last attempt,
Yeah.
Stay more focused on the process versus you trying to figure out, damn, what he's doing, what she's doing. Oh, how I do that? Damn, they just dropped something new. I got to catch up. It's like you're so trying to play catch up so much. It's like you're going to run around and pick up anything just to try and get close to what they're doing. But like, you can't get close. They're going to do what they did before to get there. All you have to do, like you said, just find your niche, find your role, and in a sense, place that within what they're not doing well. And then you'll get the other people that they can't get.
Growing the cracks. That's basically
Exactly.
what you just said, is growing the cracks. So here's as a picture that I used to circulate on Instagram and also Twitter. There's a picture of a bread aisle, and there's 400 million breads when you walk down a bread aisle.
Yeah.
But they all are bread, but they all are different in some way, shape, or form. Whether it's gluten free over here, whether this one's vegan, whatever the niche is. You have to figure out what your niche is and pinpoint your niche and be mother effing good at your niche and dominate your niche to the point where the other bread companies, the bigger ones, want to say, what the F is he doing? And why are we not in that market?
Exactly.
So that's our goal. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to try to do something like that. But that's how the biggest advice I would give someone: stick to itiveness, stubbornness, as far as the other your competition. And this is a rap cliche. Be the wave and don't join the wave. You
gotta be on your bigger belly, man. You gotta be the Silver Surfer.
Yeah, Silver Surfer. You gotta be the first one. That's how you gotta do it.
Yeah, so you gotta be bigger veils, man. You gotta start the wave, man.
Yeah, start the wave. Don't follow it. Yep.
Nah, for sure. Just on a little tangent, cause that was like my last question I wanted to ask you. Just one little tangent, cause I deal with strength conditioning and stuff like that. And I know in the inner city, especially with the high schools, that's a department that's not, in a sense, funded properly.
Yep.
But you're very creative when it comes to this type of stuff. I know you dabble in it. How do you help develop some type of strength and conditioning with dilapidated resources within the high school region of New York City?
You say dilapidated?
Dilapidated. I can't pronounce it.
Bless your heart. That's a good SAT word. How do you overcome that? I think, and this is not a promo for us, but it can be done. You know, we have the Train by Yourself series, and through the pandemic, we was doing a lot of strength and conditioning stuff, body weight stuff. I hate to say it, but there's nothing wrong with bands. Like I remember growing up, I hated bands. I was like, yo, that shit is corny. You're not gonna get strong. Wrong. You can use band work. You can go to the park and chin ups, pull ups.
Them dudes be getting crazy on the jungle gyms.
Yeah, you could do all that jungle gym stuff, and if you want to keep it funky. I'm in New York. You could go in the corner and get on the walk signs and really keep it 100.
Just jump off and just do some pull-ups. Yeah,
you could. So if you are innovative and a risk taker, you can get strong just by doing that stuff. And then also you can also run. You can't get better at running or faster unless you fucking do it. So
you gotta
put the sprints, that obviously builds up your glutes and your lowers and your cores, obviously your legs, of course. And we all know your power comes from your lower extremities for the most part. So you can do that stuff on your own without obviously a lot of research that you would have to do on your own, utilizing Bing or Google, whatever the case may be. But it can be done. So I when people say they don't have a gym, I got in great shape during the quarantine, just by running every day and doing push-ups and squats and lifting water bottles. I'm gonna prove it. Watch this, and this is just for the visual aids.
I got you. Say less.
Look. This is what I use. This is what I use my curls, so like a water jug. So I just hit. You know what I'm saying? And this is I don't know what this is. pH water, whatever. I'm sitting here doing curls with this, and this is like a regular band that you can buy in the store. And then obviously the audio people can't see this, but you hear and you just figure it out. So there are ways you can get around not having access to a gym. I'm a big fan of bands now as I get older, and basketball players don't need to get bulky anyway. So
it's gotta be fit. It's gotta be strong, basketball strong, as they say. Just gotta be basketball strong. Hold your own, push somebody if you need to, and hold your ground. That's really it.
legs and your uppers. But you got to have shoulders. Dwight Howard had the best shoulders of all time. Like his shoulders are broad, strong, and everything. And then your legs.
Nah, that's a fact.
And then one more thing, you can obviously do agility. I don't do a lot of agility in our training session because you don't have like an hour and a half of a session, and I'm a basketball guy per se. But you can do agility at home. You can get your little ladder and you can different foot patterns.
Nah, for sure. And just to add upon that point in terms of like, taking the time out to like, do your own research and get strong and stuff like that. I think in my opinion, that's the difference between an NYC or Philadelphia or even a Baltimore compared to a Texas, Atlanta, or Florida, just due to the fact that like these southern states invest so much more time into the strength and conditioning portion. It's that like, okay, cool, we can do the bands, we can do the push-ups, but like, damn, they doing power cleans, they doing sled pushes, they got a whole program, they paying for a strength coach. It's like, growing up down here, you see the difference in terms of just athleticism. And even though every time would it be like an AAU tournament, you will see like, NY Hawks come down, or you'll see like Gauchos come down and play. And of course, they skilled as hell, they killing everybody, but they having a hard time when it comes like, the athletic Cali kids or the athletic Atlanta kids and stuff like that. And them dudes just, as soon as they get the rebound, they down the court in like 3-4 seconds, and y'all still trying to get back. So I think in terms of inner city athletics, even though the funding isn't there, I think it should be a creative movement of developing some sort of strength and conditioning to help these athletes get ready for the next stage, because the inner cities will always build the most talent due to the fact of a lot of street balls being played. So a lot more pickup, more instincts, as we talked about before. The grit, the grind, they're going to foster, they're going to have it. Shout out to Jose Alvarado that just won for Tech. Those type of kids are going to be able to endure a lot of stuff most kids won't because of the environment they're in every single day.
Right.
However, without that athletic component, though, I think that's what's holding them back for sometimes getting to the NBA big stage versus like, the overseas 6-figure contract. Because I see that a lot in terms of the demographic of the athletes. I notice that the athletes that are in the athletic-driven states are the ones that become the NBA pros. The athletes that are more in the inner cities that don't push athletics or push skill, grit, and toughness, they usually just become like an overseas legend. So that's what I'm seeing, and like I'm seeing some type of correlation with that. How do you feel about that statement?
Yeah, I would go a step further. I agree with everything you said, and I would go a step further and look at the climate of those cities that you mentioned. Here in New York City, we're outside maybe 7 months of the year.
True.
And we don't have the facilities or the space that some of those places that you mentioned. Same thing with Philadelphia. Same thing with Baltimore. They lack building facilities. Whereas down south, you have way more space. You have maybe 11 months of outsideness.
For sure.
So there's a lot more opportunity. And I'm not going to blame the climate, but it's a factor.
For sure.
I just think that here in the Northeast, the emphasis is not on strength and conditioning. It's more so, like you mentioned, on development of the skill. But we have to do a better job of addressing why we have so many ACL injuries, why we have so many lack of preparedness for first year they get to school, where it's a lot more strength and conditioning, and it's all foreign to these kids. They don't know cleans, they don't know jerks, they don't know all of the things that, the lunges, and they don't know that stuff. They haven't been offered that or provided any opportunity to learn from that. So I think we have to do a better job in increasing the athletic ability too here in the New York and Northeast.
Sure.
But sadly, it does come down to money. Like, as you know, and I said not too long ago in another podcast, since 2010, this has been a money generating business. Strength and conditioning, not only strength and conditioning / basketball training, or training as a whole. And people ain't doing shit for free no more, and it's sad, and it's just a stark reality. But I understand it as a business standpoint, but at some point we have to care about the culture more so than the actual development. We have to care about the culture. I think these kids got to get better.
Yeah, because I think somebody told me last on Twitter, it's on a real quick tangent, but somebody I was posting, because we talked about it yesterday, about how to spot cues and how to teach cues and stuff like that to get an athlete, you know, to think more instinctual and stuff like that. And I was just studying triple threat, and I was just writing down, like, you know, out of each category, how many moves you got a triple threat. So I did the math. I'm like, just going to one side, you got 108 moves going to one side. I'm like, why we got 4 move combos? The dude was in the DMs telling me, "Nah, don't give her all that sauce, man. Like, you know, you're doing too much. Like, somebody will run and steal it." I'm like, I'm not worried about nobody running and stealing it, because you got to teach what I'm talking about. You can't do 108 moves at one time. So I'm
Right.
not worried with that. But secondly, I was like, I'm trying to push something new, though. I'm trying to push a certain type of narrative. Like, I'm willing to give off the stuff I'm working hard to learn about, study about, to other people to just see and just grab their eyes, so we can try and pinpoint, like, damn, you know what, you're right. Let's teach this more. Let's add this more. Let's bring this component over here, because we need more people that's about the culture and less about the finances. Because if you build it, they will come. It's just that
Yeah.
simple.
Culture over commerce.
Exactly. Great. That's a great quote. Might have to copyright that shit.
You got it, man. Nah, you got credit. You can use it. You can use it. Use it. I got more. I got more.
But yeah, man, I think that's what we need to head, and I'm willing to give up, like, you know, the free sauce or the free game, whatever you want to call it, because it's where we need to go. As well as where we need to direct our attention, because so what if you just got your business started and you about to be, you know, black wealth? Like, stop it. Let's build this, and whatever you're looking for will come on the back end. But you got to build the development, because say, like, you care about the kids and, you know, you in the red for 2-3 years, and you're like, man, this some bullshit. But after that, you slowly come out the red, and, like, you cool, you chilling. But then after, like, you know, the decade passed, you done pushed out like 10 pros, and just look how much you just built your whole program. You took all them L's at first, you built the right coach, and in 10 years, you built all these pros. And now these pros are, you know, even though they don't do it all the time, but now these pros are, you know what I'm saying, making you known that you were the heavy lifter, make you know that you were there, and they kept you, and they still keep you as, you know, the main guy that got him there. Unlike what we see now was in the heavy lifter gets them to the big stage, and now they get the NBA pro. Like, that nigga ain't get you here. Like, stop it.
Yeah, you're right.
So, I mean, that's how it feels. Like, you just got to take that to the chin, even if you do lose that, you know, relationship a little bit, but you got to take it to the chin and just get them to the promised land. Because if we do that, I feel like basketball be in better hands if we push culture over commerce versus the other way around.
Agreed.
Last little question I'm about to ask you. I guess I will ask you this. What makes you what makes you tick, is in, like, what makes you want to go out there and dominate? What you like, what's something that just makes you tick and, like, turn on that switch to go out there and dominate every single day?
A desire to be the best. That's it. A desire to be the best, and putting in my 10,000 hours on a daily basis, like adding to, like, each day I make a deposit into the Team Footprintz brand. And each day I got to keep building. And every day that I'm not, or that I'm not, and the company's not doing something, whether it's the staffers or the media team, it's a day that we're slipping. Somebody's catching up on us. And I know that, being that we've been in the business a little longer than most, people are watching, and we have to maintain a certain level of excellence, and also maintain the consistency. And I think that's big. So that's one of, if not the main reason for us to continually on a day-to-day basis get out there and try to be the best.
No, I like that in terms of what you say on the later part, in terms of maintaining the standard of excellence, or more importantly, the deposit. I was paid for this masterclass, little classroom that you have people teach you stuff, and the one I paid for was Steph Curry. He said something similar. He said, each day I work on my game, I put a penny into the bank. And he was like, the reason why I called it a penny is because he said that, you know, if I want to be this rich, you know, it takes a lot of fucking pennies.
Yeah.
So I like that. I think I'm gonna start adding that to how I view my company now, because it's true. Like, you know, if you constantly make that deposit, that investment every single day, and you build a compound interest, you will get what you are looking for. However, if the principal is low, you'll just get a low return. If the standard of excellence is high, you'll get a high return upon your value because the principal is so high.
Yeah, agreed. No, you're 1,000%. And Steph Curry, I need to holler at him real quick. He's stealing my shit.
A lot of dudes be selling your shit. I ain't gonna hold you. A lot of dudes be selling you. You got to copyright it, man. I ain't gonna hold you.
Appreciate that.
No problem. But that's it, OG. That's all I had to ask you today, man. I appreciate you as always for, giving me the wisdom and always investing in me. I think it's me and you fostering the mentor relationship between you and my other big homie Jay Anderson and also Coach Harper. You three guys have allowed me to really see how talented I am with stuff off the court. Mm-hmm. And the best thing about it is you guys don't do the bullshit and just gas. You guys keep me accountable. You guys make sure I'm doing shit the right way. Right. You guys make sure that you got this potential, but these are the steps that you have to take to get there. And also, fuck the potential. That's a cap. We want to be limitless, so let's outwork that shit. Yeah. You guys instilling that type of principle. Office.
Right. Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, you good. So you guys instilling those principles into me from age. I met Coach Harper at age 21. I met you when I was 23, and Jay at 23. So from 23 till now, I'm not gonna lie, it's been a major jump. And I'll say before, it's been stagnant. So I guess to anybody out there listening right now, I would say don't look for anybody to invest into you. I mean, you can go look out there for a mentor, but more importantly, what allowed me to get close to you guys was that I wanted to be great first. I wanted to be great on my own first. And that allowed me to attract people who saw that within me and led me down the right path. Because I feel like if you just go out there on a whim saying, I just want to mentor and stuff like that, you're going to be asking your mentor what to do, when he's not here to hold your hand. He's just simply here to make sure you stay on track. That's simply it.
Yeah.
So I guess anybody listening out there, invest in yourself first, put everything into yourself first, and the right people will come into your life to make sure you stay on the path versus you stepping outside your power to find somebody to put something within you. That's not how it works.
Right.
You start with yourself first, and then you express that outwardly.
Yeah, a mentor's job, I think, is like you mentioned, a guide, not tell, guide, and then use and inspire. I think we put up a post not too long ago that on Nipsey Hussle said to a certain extent, you could either inspire or be inspired, and that's what mentorship is, basically, to inspire those that want to be inspired.
I remember that. I remember that interview. Who was at a college speaking? I remember that.
Yeah, we put it on our reels. I think she put it on reels. It's on our reels now, but what's lacking, I think, as an older person, is nobody's willing to mentor the next generation. So it ends up being a vicious cycle of fuckery. So somebody has to take somebody and say, listen, young fella, this is how we're going to do it. This is what you should do. This is be careful. This pitfall is just that people just have out there on a willy-nilly trying to figure it out on their own. And, particularly, I hate to go to the race card, but Black men need to see other successful Black men. Black women need to see other successful Black women.
Sure.
Caucasian women need to see other successful Caucasian. And the same thing for the men, is you have to see something that you're familiar with to be successful, for you to genuinely be inspired. So I'm not saying that we're successful, but use what we've done to make the next level better. That's just basically it.
No, I feel you, because I feel like, without a mentor and from my own experience, you end up trying to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
Because instead of somebody telling you, don't do that, you end up doing it on your own. And then by the time you're, like you said, 40 or 30 and you finally become successful, you allow the next young man that's in your shoes literally right now at 19, 18 years old, do the same things you're doing. Instead of you trying to, say, nah, avoid all of that. You can get to where I can get to in 5 years if you just avoid all of these mistakes.
Yeah, Hov summed it up. He said, I did all that so you wouldn't have to go through that. Something along those lines. So something along those lines.
No, I feel you. I think that was from Blueprint.
Yeah, I don't remember what song though. Hov did that so you wouldn't have to go through that. Something like that.
Nah, I feel you. But yeah, that's all I just wanted to add on that last part, because I feel like this company wouldn't be where it's at right now if I didn't have the mentors I have in my life right now, especially with you pushing the content. I was on some bum shit last year. I was having real shit. I was on some bum shit last year. I had one quote a week, and I barely it was supposed to be the brick of the week, and I got them put it on I might drop it Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. It's like, damn, Holmes, it's supposed to be the fucking first day of the week, at least Sunday. Shit, you got it on
Uh-huh.
Thursday.
Uh-huh.
When I saw you with the reels and like, the different quotes and stuff like that, I'm like, God damn, I ain't doing shit. So you set the tempo. So I started following that. I had like the quote and the reels, and then like, you know what? I was like, I read the book Third Circle Theory, and it said, leave a legacy, or like leave something greater than you. And I was trying to do the company. I want to leave something bigger than me. And
Uh-huh.
I had to stop. I realized there is nothing bigger than me besides the creator. And so if I'm gonna put myself out there, I want to put my most genuine self out there. And like that's my legacy. Me. The best version of myself is my legacy. It's nothing else besides that.
Yep.
And once I made that switch, I just took what you did and like, man, I just went crazy with it. I just went crazy with the content. I started making the quotes, making the workout videos, and started like making plans like, what's next. I really just went crazy. But I do thank you though for being saying somebody who's willing to just always push the envelope and bring something new. So when you had the real quotes and like, you was making everything sound cool, I'm like, shit, I want to do that too. So I did that with the mortar reels and the daily brick and the pavement, all that other stuff I'm making right now. But it started with you though. Like I had an idea, but if you didn't pop it off, I swear to God, I still would be on Instagram right now making one bullshit quote a week.
Uh-huh.
And asking folks to like join a fucking Zoom session to get basketball lessons, ask for money
Uh-huh.
on some dumb shit. So I thank you for like, give me the inspiration. Like Lispy said, either you inspire or be inspired. So I thank you for the inspiration for showing me like, how to use my talent and inspire other people.
Yeah, nah, thank you for listening. And it wasn't me. I got inspired from my youngins. They inspired me.
Oh,
My,
word.
my, my
The
staff.
young boys put you on game.
Yeah, you know what they were saying, and to their credit, and I'm saying Deja and Jelani, is that the product, everybody does basketball training. So what, again, everyone has a
Yeah.
brick company. What's going to separate you? And no disrespect to nobody out there, aren't that many that have 25 years of successful teaching and training. So it's you. It's like Mark. It's you. So you have to be in a position where you're in front of the camera a little bit more. So that's why you see me now in front of the camera doing interviews and stuff like that. It's just like the staff pushed me and they wanted me to get more out there, do more content and more content. So now they got me on overdrive and I'm wilding out. They got me doing crazy. They got me doing crazy stuff. And I just want to stay on the court, but it ain't like that no more. Like it's not like that anymore.
Yeah, I learned it the same exact way. It's like, it's no such thing as even like a legacy. The legacy is you. Like the legacy depends on like, saying what you do. There's no point you trying to think about something bigger than yourself. Just do you.
Do you? Yep.
Just that simple. But nah, thank you though, bro. Thank you for
Got
always in your time.
I appreciate it. Same here, man. Thank you. And get your Zoom game up, baby.
Hey man, Anchor dropped the ball today on me.
No, they sank. That's what the fuck they did. They sank.
No pun intended. No pun intended. No pun intended. But everybody listening out there, we are on Zoom right now because Anchor wanted to fucking fall down to the ocean bottom and bullshit.
With no chain attached. No chain.
No chain attached. It just fell off the boat. It just fell off the boat completely.
They on their own. No, but I'll send you the links and everything. You'll be good to go.